You're listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe of Torch in Houston, Texas. This is the Parsha Review Podcast.
Good morning, everybody. It's so wonderful to be back here. Today, we're going to discuss Parshas Tetzaveh. Tetzaveh is this week's Torah portion, and it is packed with a lot of incredible details about the vestments, the garments of the Kohen, the high priest. It really is remarkable because if you look right at the beginning of the Torah portion, it says something really, really interesting. It says, I think it's the 5th verse, Ve'ata, and you, Tedaber el kol chachmei lev, speak to all of those who are wise-hearted, Asher melesiv ruach chachma, whom I have invested with a spirit of wisdom, Ve'asu es bigdei Aaron, and they will make the vestments of Aaron, lekadsho lechahano li, to sanctify him, to minister to me. So it's very interesting here because if you look and if we try to understand what's going on here, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't it make any sense? These guys, till 20 minutes ago, were slaves in Egypt. It's not like before we went live, we were talking about all these college degrees that people have. They're so intelligent. They're so smart. Well, what wisdom does he have? He was making bricks in Egypt. He doesn't have education. He doesn't have training. He doesn't have skills. Oh, we're going to pull him out and we're going to bring him to make clothes. He doesn't know how to cut clothes. He doesn't know how to cut garments. What can he contribute here with his wisdom? Bright guy. What can he contribute to either the construction of the tabernacle or the creation of the vestments? This guy has no idea how to make clothes. It's not like he was a factory worker in China making garments. What did he do? What does the Torah say? And now, Moshe, you speak el kol chachmei lev, to all of the wise-hearted people, Asher melesiv ruach chachma, whom I have invested with a spirit of wisdom. Ve'asu es bigdei Aaron, they will make the vestments of Aaron, lekadsho, to sanctify him, and lechahano li, to minister to me. So, in general, we think about wisdom. It says that those who seek wisdom, the Mishnah says an interesting thing. Ezahu chacham, the first Mishnah in Perek Daled. Ezahu chacham, who is the wise person? Halomid bikol adam, who learns from every person. So what really goes first? Does wisdom go first? Or does something else comes first and then you become wise? Because it says to the wise, give wisdom. God gives wisdom to the wise. They're already wise. Why do they need wisdom? Shouldn't the silly ones, shouldn't the dumb people get the wisdom? Right? It makes sense. Right? Those who are wise are already wise. They don't need more wisdom. Those who are dumb, those are the ones who need the wisdom. No. Torah tells us that those who are wise get wisdom. But those who are not, they don't get it. So what's really happening here? You know, there's a story told in the Talmud that one of the great sages met with one of the Roman noblewomen, and she asked him, I don't understand why your Torah says that you give wisdom to the wise. Why give it to the wise? They're already wise. Give it to those who are less capable. Give it to those who are less wise. To which he answered, he said, okay, so if someone came to you for a loan, for their business, you have two candidates in front of you. One is just a poor guy. He's very poor. He's just asking for a loan. The other one is like, I'm in a cash crunch right now. These are the businesses that are pending, right? As soon as it comes through, I'll pay it back. Which one would you loan the money to? She says, of course, the second one, the latter. Why? Because he can pay it back. He says, listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. You don't give wisdom to the people who are going to do nothing with it. You give the wisdom to the people who will do something with it. You give the wisdom to the people who will do something with it. What does the Mishnah say? The commentaries talk about who is the wise man? He who learns from everyone. Say the commentaries. Who is wise? So Ben Zoma, this is the first Mishnah in the 4th chapter of Ethics of Our Fathers. Ben Zoma does not mean to say that people cannot be wise, strong, rich, happy, or honored unless they comply with his definitions. Rather, he's telling us that people are entitled to take pride in their achievements only if they have attained and exercised in accordance with the moral teachings of the Torah. Okay, so he says, Halomid mikol adam. That's a wise person. Let's see what that means. He says, he who learns from every person. One who truly values wisdom will seek it wherever it can be found. For one who refuses to learn from another person because he dislikes him or disapproves of him, he is elevating his feelings over his pursuit for knowledge. That means if someone really, really desires knowledge, he doesn't care what the messenger is. He doesn't care where it comes from. If it's knowledge, I desire knowledge. From this we can understand that a wise person is someone who desires wisdom. If someone knows a lot, but he doesn't have a passion for it, he doesn't have a love for it, he happens to be just very bright. So what? A lot of bright people who did nothing to this world, contributed zero. Yet there are a lot of people, I was amazed. Do you know that 15 years ago, 20 years ago, Elon Musk knew nothing about cars and he knew nothing about rockets? He wrote that about himself. He knew nothing about cars and he knew nothing about rockets. And yet, the number one car, 20 years later, in the entire world, is the car that he produced. The Tesla Y was the best-selling car in the world. And the best rocket in the world. That NASA, with all their billions and billions of dollars, they're hitching a ride with him to the space station and back. And getting our astronauts to and from, saving them. And sending all of the satellites and everything else. It's like, you think like, oh, he's probably just a genius. No, he just desires wisdom. I think he's a great modern day example of what it means to just never stop yearning for more. He could just say, enough, I have enough money and goodbye. He's going to be the first trillionaire. Who cares? He doesn't care about the money. He cares that he's doing more with the wisdom, with his desire, with his yearning to never stop. When it comes to each and every one of us in our pursuit of Torah, wisdom, I have a friend. He buys books, oh my goodness, nonstop. He doesn't need to be bright. Doesn't need to be smart. He has a never quenching thirst for more Torah. More and more and more. That's wise. Someone who's wise never stops learning. Now, it doesn't have to be degrees in college and stuff like that, but to always be learning. To always pursue more knowledge. To never say, okay, now I know enough wisdom. I just saw a picture this morning of, in this set here, the new set that we just got for the magnificent Levitt Family Library here at the Torch Center. It has a picture there of Reb Elyashiv sitting and learning Torah when he was 102 years old. And you can see the fervor, the excitement, the enthusiasm, like it was his first time opening up a Talmud. He one time came home, Reb Elyashiv, he came home, and nobody could find him. They're looking in his room, he's not in his room, not in the bathroom. Where is he? Oh, he's in the back of his library, sitting and learning. He had a big library, he had rows and rows of books. He's sitting and learning. That's what he walks in, that's the first thing he's doing. Had a tough day, let me just sit back and watch some television. See what's going on in the world. Are they attacking Iran? Not attacking Iran? Are they this, that? And he doesn't care about that. He wants more wisdom, more wisdom, more wisdom. What? He learned everything already. He knows everything already. What more? Well, every time you learn it, you learn something new. Every time you review it, you refresh, you understand it better. It's like we learned in the Talmud just recently. Someone who learned something 100 times and someone who learned something 101 times is totally different. Completely different. I've mentioned this story a number of times of Reb Moshe Feinstein called his nephew and told him that he gets a mazel tov. He gets a mazel tov. Why? What's the mazel tov? He says, I get a mazel tov because I finished Talmud 4 times. He says, how's that possible? 15 years ago, you called me and told me that you finished it. You finished the whole Talmud 101 times. How's it possible you finished the 4th time? He says, yeah, it's my 4th time finishing the entire Talmud 101 times. Right? Never ending, never stopping. He finished the entire Talmud of Shabbos, the whole tractate of Shabbat, every Shabbat. 150 some odd pages of Talmud. And not easy Talmud, tractate Shabbat. Every single Shabbat. Why? Because he couldn't stop learning for a minute. If you desire something, you want it, you go crazy about it. I can't. It's like someone who wants money. Everything they talk about. I remember I once met a guy. He says, he's walking back and forth, pacing back and forth. I said, good morning, how are you? He said, money? Money? Did you say money? I said, no, good morning. He's like, money. That's it he could think about. So everything he wants to do is make money. But someone who wants wisdom, that's a person who's going to get wisdom. Someone who loves wisdom. Someone who desires wisdom. So what's Hashem referring to here in this verse? It's very clear. You see, if you take someone who desires wisdom and put them into a factory, in 5 minutes they'll know how to stitch, they'll know how to sew, they'll know. But it's not only that. They want to be close to God. They want to understand what do these vestments represent. So it's not about learning new skills. You ask most people out there, they'll tell you they learn more one day on the job than they did in 4 years in schooling. I've asked hundreds of students that. Where did you learn more? They just finished college. They got their first job. They said, lawyers. They learn a lot of law in school. But when they're actually an assistant to a lawyer and they see what goes on in the courtroom, they see what goes on just in actual life, everything else is theory. People who are becoming doctors, they go to residency, they actually take care of patients, they actually are reading and dealing with reports, they learn a lot more than they do with all the books. It's an amazing thing how if someone desires, and this is just another important thing that we have, this whole thing of people being ADHD in our generation. I'm very familiar with that. It takes one to know one. But when there is a desire to learn something, nothing stands in the way. When there's a true desire, I've seen it with myself. When I'm all in, focused on it, nothing. It's locked in like cement, locked in, and you get it. You get it the first time. Okay, when a person's not in the frame of mind of learning, when a person's not focused, when they're not desiring because it's not important to them. So where do we get this from? This is where our Torah teaches us how we raise children. The Torah teaches us to raise our children. The first words they speak should be Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. The first words. He's just able to start saying Mama, Abba, Abba, right? He's starting to say words. Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. The Torah was commanded to us through Moshe. Why? Give them a desire to learn. Infuse them with a want for wisdom from a young age. That's why it's important when there's an age called the why age. Children, when they get to like 2, 3, 4 years old, they start asking why about everything. See, that's the sun. Why? The moon. Why? It's time to go to sleep. Why? They ask why about everything. And sometimes parents get frustrated. Can you stop asking why about everything? Just do it. No. Don't limit their curiosity. They're asking and trying to understand the world now. They're trying to understand how things happen. I think one of the biggest challenges we have today with all of these deliveries from Amazon, from Walmart, you have Walmart Plus, they deliver your groceries straight to the door. There's a couple of big problems with it. It's because children don't understand how things come about anymore. They think that, a bottle of juice just comes from the front door. Why wasn't it delivered? Where does milk come from? It comes from the door. It comes from the refrigerator. But really, they should learn the miracles of how these things come about through Hashem's hand. The milk you get from a cow and the fruits that grow on a tree. These are things that children need to learn. And instead, it comes out of a box on Amazon. It gets delivered to your front door. They have no connection with it. By the way, it doesn't either come from the store. Okay, that's another thing. But another side thing that we lose out by having these deliveries. Don't get me wrong. It's a phenomenal luxury that we have in this generation. You don't have to schlep out. Someone will schlep out for you. Is we don't get to see the variety of Hashem's beautiful creations. I'm not talking about only the human beings who are shopping alongside you when you're picking out your fruits and vegetables. I'm talking about the actual produce, the fruits and the vegetables, to see the magnificent colors, the grandeur of Hashem. The beauty, it's unbelievable. It's so magnificent. We can feel an incredible amount of love by looking and appreciating the gifts from Hashem. I remember, and this is many, many years before Apple computers, many more years before Apple iPhones, one of the great rabbis in New York, Rabbi Avigdor Miller, used to talk about the apple, the fruit, the apple. And the brilliance of that apple is far exceeding any piece of technology you will ever find that will ever be created. Do you know what's in that apple? Millions of apples are in that apple. Millions. You know why? Because in it are the seeds for the next generation of apples. And the next trees that produce fruit that will produce more trees. This little beautiful apple. To realize that those seeds are all of the future of all the apples in the world. It has the ability in this one apple to be the future. This is it, in one little apple. And you look at how beautiful it stands. You look at the different shades and the different colors. The nutrients that it provides for our body. It's a miracle. And then what we look at, we don't have time for it because we're busy on our Apple devices. We don't have time to realize. Imagine if you put your Apple phone into the ground and 3 weeks later buds start growing and you have new Apple devices. Wait, that's the amazing thing. You put an apple, to us it seems like, yeah, that's the way nature works. There's no such thing as nature. One of the things we learned previously when we discussed the Hodu in our morning prayer, remember his wonders that he performed, his marvels, and the judgments he decreed. Our sages tell us, you know what that means? Remember Hashem's wonders that he performed way back in creation. But his marvels, the marvels in our creation and the judgments he decreed, that they continue to be created daily by the Almighty. The miracles didn't just happen then. It's embedded into nature. Mother Nature did this. Mother Nature did that. Most of Mishpatei Pihu, Hashem's marvels, is his command. It's the most incredible thing that we are able to live in a world where every day we're able to see the miracles of Hashem. Where you walk outside and you see the marvels in a tree, in a sunrise, a sunset. The whole world, it's an amazing thing. We should live in total amazement. But that's if we desire wisdom. If we desire to learn and to grow and to connect, we'll be of the chachmei lev. We will be ve'ata tedaber el kol chachmei lev. Moshe, go talk to all of the wise-hearted people. Asher melesiv ruach chachma, whom I have invested with a spirit of wisdom. Ve'asu es bigdei Aaron lekacho lechan li. They will create those vestments. They will create those garments. They will create everything. But they don't know how. They desire wisdom. Wisdom of the heart. Wise-hearted people are people who never stop learning. And it's a charge for us to never stop learning. I've said this numerous times to people who I learn with, who are coming of age already, that they want to retire, they're considering retirement. I tell them, don't do it. Don't retire. Or if you do, be like Ed, be like others here who are never stopping to learn. I've seen so many people, their lack of activity, even if you go to work and fall asleep on your desk, it's fine. You're tired, fine. So lower your schedule, but go, continue to work. A person needs to continue to have vitality, to have vibrancy every single day, to not stop. Because the minute we stop, it all shrinks, it all falls apart, it all disappears. We have a command to learn every single day Torah. To learn Torah morning, evening. To learn Torah every day. I remember in yeshiva, this is something they would tell us every day. Even you're not feeling well, open up a little Pirkei Avos, a little ethics of our fathers. Open up the Parsha, learn something. Have Torah in your life. My grandfather would say, sometimes people leave their homes, they go travel, and they're overwhelmed with temptation. This is because they don't have Torah. We need to have Torah in our mind. Boredom brings sin. If your mind is busy, you're not bored. To take a verse before you leave the house, okay, let me contemplate this, let me learn this. What does it mean to be a wise person? To always be thinking, to always be challenging our mind more. It's such an important thing for us to learn. The real wisdom is the desire to have wisdom. That's real wisdom. That's why the wise are those who receive the wisdom. God gives the wisdom to those who are wise. What does it mean to be wise? To desire wisdom. Hashem should bless us all. That we should merit to have wisdom. We should merit to always seek wisdom. Everywhere we can get it. Hashem should bless us all with an amazing Shabbos. Thank you so much. The first thing in our Amidah that we ask for is wisdom. You give man intelligence. After we recite the first three blessings, which are patriarchs, God's might, and God's holy name, we go with the first thing is insight. You graciously endow man with wisdom and teach insight to frail mortal. Endow us graciously from yourself with wisdom, insight, and discernment. Blessed are you, Hashem, gracious giver of wisdom. Hashem gives wisdom. To who? To those who seek it. All we need is a desire. It's an amazing thing. All we need is a desire. The ratzon, the will, the want for wisdom is the only ingredient necessary. Who would you rather train? Someone who my parents told me to just get a job and get a life, so that's why I'm here. Versus someone who wants to learn the skills. He wants to be an apprentice. Who do you want to take in? The person who wants to be there. That's the people that Hashem infuses with wisdom. Hashem leiv, I filled them with wisdom. Hashem should bless us all. So we see by King Solomon said about wisdom, he had all the wisdom in the world, the wisest of all men, and the one thing he was missing was the understanding for the red heifer. And he considered it like he wasn't wise at all because he was lacking that. It's like we mentioned with Haman, that Haman had everything. The wealthiest man alive, aside from the king. He had power, he had connection, He had the signet ring of the king. He could decree anything he wanted. One thing he didn't have. He didn't have Mordechai bowing down to him. All of this is worthless. Because someone who desires honor, when he doesn't get that 1 ounce of honor, it's worthless. When someone desires wisdom and they don't get that last drop of wisdom, it's like I'm a dummy. I don't know anything. And this is the real what we're actually saying is that the root of everything is desire. When a person has a will, a desire to attain something, whatever it may be, whether it be wisdom, honor, glory, fame. Imagine someone who's like the number one influencer out there, but they're deplatformed from Facebook. It's like because if their desire is to be the number one in every area of influence, and they're missing a big one, it's worthless. They're not going to be sleeping at night because how do I get back on there? What do I need to do to get back on there? Right? It's like, what do you mean? You have everyone on all the other platforms. No, but this one I don't. That spark is really what we're looking for. That spark for whatever it is that we desire in life. You don't want to a person shouldn't just want to be a pilot. He wants to be the best pilot, the most experienced pilot. A person shouldn't want to be a video technology or whatever, video editor. He wants to be the best. Versus you have people who, it's okay. What are those people in our eyes? Like, what do we call those people?
Mediocre.
People who just are They're It's okay as long as I'm, I would even say that it's curiosity for more. For never ending our quest for more wisdom, for more knowledge, for more understanding, for more, it's like, you ever wonder why people who've made $1 trillion, what's in it for them to make another trillion? Because they want more. Ohev kesef lo yizba kesef. One thing that's 100% certain is that someone who has love for money will never be satisfied with money. It's never satiable. Ever. Oh, you have enough already. $100 billion. Enough. Never enough. 101. 102. It's like, this craving is a very powerful, good thing if it's used for good. I'm not saying that money is bad, but I'm just saying that money is temporary. Wisdom is eternal, because what we do with that wisdom, guiding our lives, bringing us closer to God. It used to be in the Alte Shtetl, and it still is today when you meet Jews from around the world, that when they meet one another, they say over a little thought of a little idea of Torah. I met a guy this morning, leaving shul. He came here to collect charity for an institution right outside of shul. He says, I want to tell you over something from Satmar Rebbe, some idea. What does he have with me? All right, he came to collect charity. What are you giving me wisdom? Because that's the way Jewish people greet each other. We're people who, that's our aspiration, our goals, is more wisdom, more wisdom, more wisdom. And if someone says to you, I heard it all, you're missing something. And in every area of life, it's important for us to never, never, never allow mediocrity take reign over us.
You've been listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe on a podcast produced by Torch, the Torah Outreach Resource Center of Houston. Please help sponsor an episode so we can continue to produce more quality Jewish content for our listeners around the globe. Please visit torchweb.org to donate and partner with us on this incredible endeavor.